Okay, good evening, everyone. I wanted to just go through a couple of organizational items before we get started. First one is to report who is on the call. We have present the 6 members of the Advisory Planning Board and 1 other member trying to call in. We have present Mr. Jim Galato, Mr. Terry Rogers, Mr. Carl Shetler, Ms. Deirdre Trass, Ms. Lisa Avery, Mr. Michael Bird, and Ron Scotes apparently is listening to us and will join us shortly. Also on the call.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
Okay, I'm here. I can't get on visual. I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, Ron, did you hear us? Our technician might be able to give you a phone call and help you out if we want to get the meeting started. You could just.
Well, go ahead. I don't have visual. As you can see, I've gone on by phone, so I'm here.
Okay.
You just won't be able to see my smiling face.
How do we know it's you?
Yeah, that's a shame. So we also,
Well, if you guys look at your screen, it basically says who's there. I try to get on the screen. I try to unmute. I see everybody except for Mr. Hogue.
Are you on your cell phone?
Yes.
You'll only be able to see 4 at a time on your cell phone.
I can see the whole screen, Terry. I don't know, again, go ahead and start, and I'm here.
Okay.
okay. The other people on the call are representatives of the developer, and we have Arthur Horn, who's the attorney. We have John Ferrante, who is working with Arthur Horn and actually is identified as Arthur Horn. So we have 2 Arthur Horns on the screen.
Yeah, I apologize, Joe. I think I used a link from our meeting to sit to Arthur, so I apologize.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Also, April Makoff of Clear Channel Outdoor is with us. And Anthony Hogue is the city's webmaster, but in his place this evening, we have Andrew Gabala. So that represents everyone who is on the call. We do not have any other people from the public. Oh, Alyssa Levan, I'm sorry. I didn't see you down at the bottom there, I'm sorry. City Attorney Alyssa Levan. And I don't have anyone else from the public that I see under any questions or anything like that. So let's proceed. This meeting is being recorded. We did offer an opportunity for the public to provide testimony by sending in their questions ahead of time to staff. We have not received any questions from the public. And as I stated, there is no parties that we see at this point on the call. So at this point, I would remind everyone to mute your microphones if you're not currently speaking. And at this point, we'll turn it over to the chair and we will get organized.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. My name is Terry Rogers. As Joe has mentioned, I'm the chairman of the Bowie Planning Advisory Board. And as Joe has already identified and introduced everybody, we do have a quorum. And so the hearing tonight will involve a presentation by city staff, which will be followed by a presentation by the applicant. Board members will have an opportunity to ask questions of staff and the applicant following their presentations. The board will also have an opportunity to hear comments submitted by the public for the public hearing and any questions received during the hearing. Board members will be polled for their comments, if any, prior to a motion. All those wishing to speak, please state your name.
Arthur Horn.
Frank Stevens.
April, will you be presenting?
April Makoff.
Okay. All speakers, is anyone else going to be speaking?
John Ferrante for the applicant.
Okay, John, thank you. Okay, each person, all speakers, please raise your right hand and respond yes or I do. Do you swear or affirm that the statements you're about to give are true to the best of your knowledge, information, or belief?
I do.
Thank you. Okay, so this evening, we're going to be hearing a certification of a non-conforming use, and it's tag NCU tag 1 tag 2019, an outdoor advertising sign for a billboard located at the southwestern quadrant of the US Route 301 southbound at Excalibur Road and at Excalibur Road intersection and 16502 Everdale Court. So at this time, we will have staff make your presentation, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Frank Stevens of the city planning staff here tonight to review with you docket case 19-15 and also known as NCU-1-19. The petitioner in this case is Clear Channel Outdoor LLC, represented by Mr. Arthur Horn of the firm of Shipley and Horn. The existing use is a billboard located along the west side of southbound Route 301 in this vicinity right here. This is Excalibur Road, intersects 301 at this location, and the billboard is right here. It straddles the property line of the credit union building and a piece of property owned by the Covington HOA. Those two properties are in two different zoning districts. The property where the credit union is Lot 3 on Block B. It's zoned CSC Commercial Shopping Center and contains 1.57 acres. The other piece is zoned residential suburban in a comprehensive design zone. It contains 11.94 acres and is owned by the Covington HOA. We sent out 9 advertisements, notices, letters to adjacent property owners, informing them of this hearing on May 4th. We also posted the properties with 2 signs advertising the hearing as well. This comes about through some legislation that was passed in late 2016. County Bill CB 84/2016 became effective on January 3rd, 2017, which required the submission of applications for the certification of outdoor advertising signs that were in existence as of January 1st, 2002. And those applications had to be filed no later than December 31st, 2021. So the purpose of the subject application tonight is to have the existing billboard, the existing outdoor advertising sign certified as a non-conforming use. And this is a photograph of the existing billboard located behind the credit union building along 301 southbound. This is a special purpose survey. It's attachment 2 in our report, and the right-hand side of this illustration indicates the existing property of Lot 3. It's a flag lot that runs out to Excalibur Road. This is the footprint of the credit union building, and the location of the billboard is right here. you can see it straddles the property line, the common property line between the commercial piece and the HOA piece. Maryland Route 3 is up here running north to south. And on this side of the illustration is like an enlargement of this area, and it more clearly shows setbacks of the billboard structure from the right-of-way line, the outline of the parking lot for the credit union building, and the property line between the two subject properties. The applicant has also submitted a statement of justification. That's attachment 3 in our report. Pursuant to section 27-244 of the county zoning ordinance, there are factors that are laid out, and there's a discussion that takes place regarding the certification of a non-conforming use, and it indicates examples of different types of evidence that should be provided for the certification and the eventual issuance of a use and occupancy permit. The applicant has submitted about 7 pieces of evidence or documents that back up the request. The special purpose survey is one item that's attachment 2. That's what's on the screen now, which indicates the location of the structure, dimensions, the property description, the property lines, and nearby structures. Secondly, there have been copies of 8 leases for the billboard going back to 1964 and up to today's date, and they automatically renew and roll over. A third item that was submitted were documents that indicate that advertising has continuously appeared on the billboard since December 31st, 1991. Another item is documentation from the applicant received by the State Highway Administration indicating that permitting or tagging of the billboard has taken place since April 30th of 1959. The applicant has also provided a permit application filed with Prince George's County, and that's attachment 4 in the report. This is an aerial photograph. It's attachment 6 from 1965. The existing property lines are superimposed on this photograph. Route 301 is over here to the east, to the right. And this in the blue line is the configuration of Lot 3, Block B, where the credit union building now sits. And you can see in this location here, there appears to be this heavy dark line that is the billboard. It's in the same location, same configuration, same direction as what exists today. And the applicant has also submitted several other aerial photographs of the area from 15 years taken between 1997 and 2018. And lastly, the applicant has submitted an affidavit, attachment 5 in our report, indicating that the billboard has not ceased operation for more than 180 calendar days between December 31st, 1991 and the time when the application was submitted earlier this year. There's another section in the county ordinance that section 27-244B, which is no longer applicable. That has been replaced by some different wording that requires, we talk about that on top of page 6 of our report, and it outlines various documents that should be submitted to substantiate this request, and those documents I've just mentioned. Section 27-244 from the zoning ordinance talks about the action that the planning board can take in cases like this. And if the board decides to certify that a non-conforming use actually exists and has continuously operated, then the planning board shall find that the conclusion it reaches is supported by a preponderance of the evidence. We also comment that the documentation provided by the applicant that I've just mentioned a short time ago indicates that the existing use may be certified by the board. In conclusion, based on the evidence that's been provided by the applicant and the information contained in the staff report, it's reasonable to conclude that the billboard use has been established. In conclusion, our recommendation is that pursuant to section 2637E of the city code, we're recommending that application NCU 12-2019 for the certification of a non-conforming use be approved. That concludes our presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stevens. Very thorough as usual. And to board members, do you have any questions of staff? No questions of staff. Okay, the applicant wish to make a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Bowie Planning Advisory Committee. For the record, Arthur Horn with the law firm of Shipley and Horn here representing the applicant, represented by Ms. April Makoff, who is the Vice President of Real Estate, Vice President of Real Estate and Public Affairs for Clear Channel, and with a senior paralegal from Shipley and Horn, Mr. John Ferrante. We basically are here, Mr. Chairman, to answer any questions that the board may have. We certainly agree with the findings of facts and the conclusions that's set forth in the staff report. I do want to thank Mr. Stevens and Mr. Meinhardt for their review. I understand that this is the first non-conforming use that this Planning Advisory Committee has had the opportunity to engage in. Is new, but this one is unusual because the non-conforming uses that you will be dealing with have one set of rules. Then you have one for the billboards, which we're here. Just really quickly, I just want to say that the legislation came about which allowed for billboards to be certified, as Mr. Stevens mentioned, was because the county, who had stopped billboards back in 1991, recognized that a lot of the billboards were becoming digital, and that they wanted to not miss out on the opportunity to have advertisement for these digital billboards at certain locations. So as part of the legislative effort to allow for digital billboards to come, the county realized that they didn't even have any idea of how many billboards that they had in their county, because they didn't have any records keeping. And so one of the things as part of the legislation for the digital billboards was to indicate that they wanted everybody to go out and certify the billboards so they can have an idea of where were these billboards, and have them certified as non-conforming uses so they can get building permits, so that the county can keep an accurate record, because the state was the only one who were keeping records of these billboards when they were next to state roads. And so that's how this started. Again, the information that we were able to present indicates that this billboard has been located here since at least 1959, according to the state, 1964 from the records we can find. And we can indicate that this billboard has had advertisement on there consistently ever since that time and up and through to the day. And having met the requirements, we would just ask the Bowie Planning Advisory Board to support the recommendation and approve this application.
Okay. Thank you very much, Attorney Horn. For members of the board, poll you for any questions that you may have.
Hi, Terry. I guess for the staff, Mr. Minard or Mr. Stevens, what is the next step? If right now they are seeking approval for their application for non-conforming use, and what will be the next step? I'm just curious.
The next step, after a decision is made tonight, if you're going to approve this, would be for the applicant to take the resolution that's adopted and go to the county and request that they issue a use and occupancy permit.
Mr. Minor, Mr. Stevens, thanks for your presentation. You as well, Mr. Horn. I guess, where do you go? You already have advertisers lined up. What types of advertisements do you envision being on there?
I would say April. Do you want to answer that one?
Sure. So we have current advertisers at the location. We have advertisers that are drawn from our local and national sales teams, and we also import business from other markets. So it really varies. This location is always on a list that any account executive in the country can tap into. And so if a client is looking for a certain type of a demographic or a certain dot on a map in Prince George's County, for example, or within Bowie, that would be available if it's not already sold.
And how long do they typically go for? Is it 15 days, 30 days, 90?
A campaign is typically 1 month or longer.
Mm-hmm.
We are constantly trying to ensure the vitality of our location so that our account executives will have the certainty that these locations will be there to sell for the long term. Obviously, longer is better, particularly right now,
Yeah.
given COVID constraints on revenue generation. So you have some clients where they will buy the same poster face at the same location year after year after year, because the results have been obvious in terms of how the marketing has improved their business. Others will fluctuate. They'll try out a different road, or maybe take money that they had put into Prince George's County and move it to Calvert County or Howard County, because they're trying to target different demographics. So it really depends.
Okay. And if anyone should have issues with what's posted on the billboard, they would reach out to you, they would reach out to the city. Who would they contact about that?
In terms of the copy itself and the messaging?
No, let's say there's, I don't know, a graphical issue that somebody has with it. Who would they reach out to you if they had an issue about that, or would they reach out to the city?
They're more than welcome to reach out to me directly. Typically, the inquiry would come through some member of the municipality.
Okay.
For example, in another jurisdiction, I had a situation where there had been a windstorm and the advertisement had started to blow off. And a resident was driving by, reported it to an inspector. Inspector ended up reaching out to me because we had a relationship, and I was able to work with my operations team to immediately go out there and cure the problem. But we're very persnickety when it comes to the messaging on our billboards.
Okay.
We try and ensure that we vet copy before anything is posted, so that things are put up in good taste.
Excellent. Thank you.
I have a question. Did you say this is a digital billboard?
No, sir. I'm
No.
saying this was initiated because the county as a whole was trying to allow for digital billboards at certain locations. So while they had, because they had in 1991 made all billboards illegal. So in order to allow for digital, they had to go and change the law to allow for it. And when they changed the law as part of this legislation, they said, well, let's find out where we have our billboards. Let's have every one of them become certified by a certain date so we know what's going on. That was all. This is not programmed for a digital location right here.
That's what I want to know. Okay, thank you.
So I have one quick question.
Mr. Byrd?
Yes. Thank you. The property owners of the adjoining parcel of land, have they ever had any complaint at all about the billboard being partially on their property? And for this particular case, where they reached out to be, I think you said that earlier during your presentation, Mr. Stevens, but have you gotten any feedback from the other property owner?
No, we haven't. We haven't heard from anybody. And, we were checking earlier regarding the distance of the billboard to, those properties. First of all, it's pretty heavily wooded, and between the billboard and, let's see, I'm trying to get to, here we go. It's pretty heavily wooded, as you can see, between the background of the billboard and to the residential lots behind that. And the distance from the billboard in this location to this lot, this is the closest residential property line, is over 300 feet. It's 360 feet or so, okay? And then to the back of the house, it's 390 feet from the billboard. So there's a solid wood buffer between the billboard and the residential lot. And we haven't gotten any complaints. We haven't gotten any questions or correspondence or anything from anybody who lives over there regarding this application.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Stevens.
This is John Ferrante for the applicant. I would add that the applicant has a lease agreement with both property owners, and it's located on an HOA parcel that is heavily buffered. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify that they were also sent informational mailings, and they were sent acceptance mailings as well, the HOA association.
Excuse me, I don't believe somebody who's not an attorney can represent the applicant.
Is that Elise?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you. Could you speak, say it again, please?
I said, I don't believe someone who is not an attorney can represent the applicant. Mr. Horn could call him as a witness.
Okay, okay, you're right, Ms. Levine. John was just responding to the question that the planning board member had, and he was sworn in, but I think he was just being responsive to the question that was he was asking, but I can ask him and swear and call him as a witness if deemed necessary.
No, if he's already sworn and he's testifying as a witness, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, good. Any other questions? So that did go to, thank you for that last question, because that was one of the questions that I had, and I think it was answered that there is a lease agreement between the two property owners that the billboards are encroaching on. Is that correct?
Clear Channel Outdoor has an agreement with each of the two property owners. That is correct.
Okay, good. Now, in terms of certification, will this come back before us? Is there a annual recertification or biannual, or how often do you have to recertify?
This is a one-time event. Just one certification, and that's it.
Okay, all right. Now, we have several other billboards in Bowie. Will we be getting similar type of requests? And I think they're all clear channel, at least most of them are.
Yes. April, are you familiar with the locations of others within the city of Bowie?
I do not believe that they fall within the city limits.
Hmm. Okay, so this is the only one in the city that you're aware of?
I believe so.
Okay. Interesting, because I know there's at least two more right, not a half a mile away on the northbound and southbound sides of road, but as you said, it may not be within the city limits. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, good.
I had a similar situation in Laurel. There's the city of Laurel versus the surrounding counties, and there was a question mark about the Laurel address versus the Laurel limits and who has jurisdiction. I'm happy to follow up on that point, but I do recall researching this issue, and I think that there were locations that fell within the county, but not necessarily within the city.
Okay, all right. That's
Mr.
fine.
Chair?
Yes.
Ah, great. I'm still here. I'm not asleep. All that I can tell you is that I have worked with Clear Channel on various projects over the last 2 decades in other jurisdictions. We have to remember they just can't slap on anything that they want to slap on. There are ordinances, there are contractual things that say what they cannot do. I can assure you that Clear Channel is very professional, very responsive. Now, if we had some of their competitors come in, it might be a different story. But, the fact is that I was around in the 90s when some of the brains down in Prince George's County decided to put the ordinance to restrict the billboards. The reason being was that some of the content that was starting to go up was really, really unacceptable. And the fact, too, is that back then there was this movement against aesthetic advertising on large highways. Good examples, US Route 1. It became just an absolute nuisance. So I just want to chime in, to the folks that, again, this is one of those things that unfortunately is a technicality that in other jurisdictions, it's really, really not an issue whatsoever.
All right, thank you very much for that commentary, Mr. Scopes. Well appreciated. So, are there any other questions? One last time. No other questions for staff or for the applicant? Okay, so I'm ready to entertain a motion, and if we're listening closely as Mr. Stevens gave his report, in order for us to approve this, we have to find that there is that the applicant is, his application is supported by a preponderance of evidence. And
Mr. Rogers,
yes,
you need to call for the public hearing and close the public hearing.
correct. Thank you for that, Joe. Okay, there's nobody signed up to speak. So at this point, I will declare that the public hearing has been held and it is now closed. And we're going into deliberations and questions and comments from the board. So I'll turn it over to our boards. Are there any comments that anyone wants to make?
If no one has a comment, I'm prepared to make a motion, but I'll wait to see if anybody has comments.
No comment.
Okay, no comments, no comments. Okay,
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion, move to accept the proposal as written. The billboard use has been established as active since at least April of 1964, if not sooner or earlier than that. And therefore pursuant to section 2637E of the city code and section 27244 of the Prince George's County zoning ordinance, I recommend that the application NCU-1-2019 for the certification of a non-conforming use be approved.
Okay, I have a motion for approval by Mr. Carl Shedler. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second that, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I have a second from Michael Byrd, or was that Ron Scotes?
Give it to Mr. Byrd,
Okay,
respectfully.
Mr. Chair,
yes.
does the motion include approving the resolution that's attached to your packet?
I'm sorry if I did mention that, yes, to include the resolution that is attached to the packet. My apologies.
Okay, thank you, Joe. All right, so we have a amended motion for approval to include the resolution that's been attached to the package. And I do have a second from Mr. Byrd. Are we ready for the vote? All in favor, signify please by stating aye.
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 Joe, are you counting the votes? I believe that we have unanimous. I believe that the vote is unanimous. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion carries. And congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's
very
interesting to
much.
get through this first Zoom virtual. It's taking a little bit to get used to, but it's our new normal.
Well, y'all did well, very well.
Yes.
Thank you, thank
I
you.
would just like to take a moment, if I could, on behalf of the applicant, Clear Channel Outdoor, to thank Chairman and all the members of the planning board, Frank and Joe on the staff side. You guys have been fantastic, and I know that this was a case of first impression, but we got through it together as partners, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be heard this evening and to work together to certify this location. Taking time out of your evenings, which during these times is precious. So
Well, we thank you. Thank you very much, and
Yeah.
we'll see you on the next application, Mr. Horn.
Yeah.
All right. So
Thank you.
see you.
Yeah, Ms. Makoff, I was just going to say I almost didn't recognize you without the baby attached to you.
The practice session.
Yeah.
Right.
she had her civics lesson.
Yeah.
Good. So, okay, so that concludes that hearing. I believe we do have some minutes to approve. Is that correct, Joe?
Yes, that's correct. 2 sets of minutes.
Okay, we have a set of minutes, and I have in this pile of papers here misplaced my agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept the minutes as written for January 28th and move to it. Do we need 2 separate motions, Joe, or will 1 suffice?
It would help to have 2.
2 separate motions, got it. Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes for January 28th, 2020 as written.
Okay, I'll move for approval of the minutes. Is there a second?
I can second.
Oh, sorry, Deidre.
Okay, we have a motion for approval and a second. Are we ready for the vote? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Hold on one second.
Say it again.
I was talking to my dog. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have another set of minutes to approve.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the minutes as written for March 10th, 2020.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion for approval of minutes for March 22nd. All in favor, signify with aye, please.
Aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. I want to thank everyone for their time. Joe, is there anything else on the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, you and I had a phone conversation this afternoon. I didn't know if you wanted to do anything with that.
Yes, thank you. I was going to go into that. So I've been informed that there is a effort afoot now to do a text amendment for what is being called Liberty Business Park. And that's down where the old Safeway once was. You know, they have closed and they sold and they're moving on to another location. So I believe that the effort is to rezone that from what is now in the EIA zone, which is employment. I don't know what EIA stands for.
It's employment and institutional area.
Right, thank you, Joe. And however, that was going to be homes. It was going to have, I think Toll Brothers was going to be the developer there for, I'm not sure of how many homes. So the effort now is to do a text amendment and change that into an industrial use.
Where's this
The
located?
location again?
Yeah.
Where Safeway is, the old Safeway warehouse.
Oh, down by the police, okay.
Leland Road.
Got it.
By Beech Tree. Everybody familiar with that location? Okay, so now that's not in the city of Bowie, but it is in kind of our planning area. It's close to South Lake. It's on the south side of South Lake. And more than likely, I have not, I don't think that it's going to be coming before the city or the board, but it's just good that we would have that information about what's happening in the areas surrounding us and touching on our borders. Some folks will tell you that it's a good thing because there won't be any impact to the schools. It's less traffic. So, we'll have to see how the residents feel about it. But it is an employment center, so there will be jobs generated at that site, which is something that the county really needs. But it will not be in the city of Bowie. And that's about all that I know about it. The applicant on that is the NI Michael Company, and they will be making some road improvements to Route 301. Again, similar to what they did in the South Lake subdivision. And they've requested to come before you and give you just an overview so that you're aware of what's going on in that location.
Would that be competing with the Milford area, which is going to have some more business opportunities? I mean, they're already struggling.
With Milford?
Yeah.
Well,
They're
I mean,
already
it's
struggling.
right there, trade zone too, so I guess we could say it competes with trade zone as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't answer that. I was just informed of this shortly before this meeting. So the thing is, if it's okay with you all, we can set up a meeting. You said it would be about 15 minutes, and if you like, then we'll have, get a presentation directly from the developer, and we can ask him all the questions that come to mind.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'd like to see it as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, so if that's the case, what day and time would you all want to shoot for?
Well, Tuesdays are always good, right?
Tuesdays?
Right, your next meeting would be the 26th of May, which is Tuesday after Memorial Day. We don't have anything for the agenda that night at this point, so it's available for you to have a meeting.
Okay, is that agreeable with everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, so I will let them know that they can, we'll set up something, Joe, similar to this presentation. I think we'll probably still be in quarantine mode or whatever we call it. So we'll get something set up and we'll get an announcement out to everybody to let them know.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for the info. That's good to know.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you all for attending and working with me through this new format.
Hey, I have one more comment. I'm sorry.
Okay, go right ahead, Mr. Bird.
Yeah, I've been hearing scuttlebutt about the ice arena. Has anyone else heard anything that potentially it may be coming to a halt, or that folks are trying to gear up to try to stop whatever construction's been going on thus far? And if so, what implication does that have for our board, if any at all?
Mike, do you mean it's not going to be an ice arena anymore?
You mean the one at Allen Pond?
No, I'm talking about the new one.
Church
right
Road.
off the Church Road. There's, you know, again, this is all speculation. But I know other folks have come to me asking me, have I heard anything about it?
Okay.
And I'm saying no, but it's starting to get some legs, this whole, and I think I believe this Monday, correct, Joe or Frank? This Monday at the city council, it's up on the agenda for discussion and or potentially a vote.
Well, I sat in on the last city council meeting, and there were several questions submitted by the residents, both for and against the ice rink. And I believe, Joe, the way the question was answered or the way it was addressed was just that stand by, we'll have put it on the agenda, like you said, for the next meeting. But there was no decision or nothing that I've heard that's concrete.
I think that's accurate. I think that's the whole idea, is they want to get it on the agenda and go from there. So I don't know what to expect, and I certainly don't have any information I can offer you on that.
Okay.
That's
Thank you.
about all. So I think we all, we've heard things, but, until there's any action.
Right. Yes, all scuttlebutt. I wanted to carry
There's
out
nothing for us to really plan for, I don't think.
Okay.
Not at this
Hey,
point.
Joe, your bandwidth is getting very, very low.
Okay.
We're about to end, so.
Yep, on that note, Mr. Chair,
My bandwidth is low too.
Say again, Mr. Bird?
move to
My
adjourn.
bandwidth is pretty low right now too.
All right, then it's time for Mr. Shuttler to do your thing, Mr. Shuttler.
Yes, sir. Move to adjourn, please.
Second.
All right, so moved. All right, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll talk again on the 26th.
Okay,
Thank
good
you,
night.
everybody.
Great job,
See you
Mr.
guys.
Chair.
Good night.
Great job.
Good
Stay
night.
safe.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
All right.
Thank you. Good night.
Night.